This live stream is presented to you by MaxspeedTV. All live streaming content that is presented in this telecast is owned by MaxspeedTV, Rudy Cummings, and the entire crew of MSTV. This may not be rebroadcasted, retransmitted, and retelevised without written consent. Please enjoy today's broadcast. Mic test, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, we're good. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Welcome here for the iSCAR Sports Car Championship, getting ourselves set for round number 5 out of 6 at the Watkins Glen International Bootleg. What? That doesn't really make any sense. But, yeah, y'all. Welcome here for tonight. My name is Ezekiel Reyes.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. What's poppin', Jimbo?
What's poppin', y'all? Apologies about that. I had some mic issues. Wasn't detecting my mic, but now we're here. We're live. We're getting set. Sorry for that butchered intro, but you know, we're glad to see you at the track.
Yeah, we're at Watkins Glen. We're going to do some left turns and some right turns over the span of 45 minutes. We're in beautiful New York State, near the Finger Lakes, I think, somewhere in that area. But we're getting set. About 3-ish minutes left to practice here, so I'm excited for tonight. We have a higher car count than we've had the last couple weeks because a lot more people, of course, own Watkins Glen with it on the Cup schedule. So looks like we have about 31 cars so far tonight. I think we had 23 last week. So More cars, more action.
Definitely. And you spoke of more cars. That'll mean that points gap will definitely be up for grabs. We'll take a look at how points stand right now. Brody Gardner, Jackson Menchu, not Austin Osborne, but Brody Gardner, Jackson Menchu, and Corey H. Hart's lead points in their classes.
Well, you see, Corey H. Hart's has a 74-point lead over Chris Nazowski in that GT3 class, so the overall title may not be secured yet, but I think Corey H. Hart's might have that GT3 title locked down now. I'm not sure if Chris can make up 74 points over these last 2 races. Of course, Jackson only up by 9 on Austin Osborne, so the GTE class definitely with some competition here in the last couple races, and we'll have to see if Dan Neese can potentially flag down his teammate Brody. He's about 60-ish points back, but they've both been consistently strong every week in and week out, so Brody's going to be a tough out for his teammate.
Definitely, and take a look through the top 20. Garner, Menchu, Osborne, Neese, Hartz, Grindle, Smith, Mulrooney, Nozowski, Von, Sheen, Patterson, Warwas, Atkins, Berge, Bonser, Shuttlesworth, Light, Schmidt, and Wheel in the top 20.
And speaking of Christopher Weil, he is part of a brand new team in iSCAR that will be making its debut tonight. SPM Racing making its debut with Christopher Weil, one of its drivers. He will be in the DP class. Charlie Byer will be debuting for the team in the GTE class. And in the GT3 class, our representative for the team will be Carson Poindexter. That team owned by Carson, myself, and Ritwick. So good luck to the competitors tonight, getting our team a strong debut finish. Definitely not biased there at all, but, you know, new teams. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Currently, Garner leads practice on the DP side of things. You see him in that number 99 roll himself through the now a bus stop portion of the racetrack. Aaron Mulrooney currently sitting himself on pit road as of right now. And up in first place is that number 57 of Corey H. Hart. He's currently not on the racetrack as of right now. So, as I said, a lot of drivers here for tonight. I'm excited to see on how this is all going to turn out here at the end. We're going to scoot ourselves to the side as we salute our national anthem. Rise out and remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors. Welcome everybody back here live as we get set for round number 5 out of 6 at the Watkins Glen International. Is it just Watkins Glen International?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any Speedway or Raceway or anything else after it. I think it's just WGI.
Yeah, that's right. Go pull up. It just pulls up Watkins Glen. I'm not even gonna go in depth about that, but anyway, we're currently under qualifying as of right now as these drivers roam through the racetrack, trying to log in their fastest 2 of this session. But yeah, let's take a look around and see where everybody's just sort of floating around and talk about the trouble parts of the racetrack and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, Tolsma Spain's game.
Oh no, what is that? Oh my goodness.
That is amazing, but people might think otherwise.
Like that, one person will not. You will never know which one is which, but you can decide that amongst yourselves. But here we're looking at points leader Brody Gardner as he comes down to the finish line to complete perhaps his outlap or his first lap.
Looks like it's outlap really early into the session, so just only like 3 minutes in. So Garner might as well get on board of him as he works himself coming through the S's portion of the track.
You may notice in this onboard, you see the camera shaking a little bit. New addition that I almost said iSCAR, that iRacing has put in its recent build. So little cool extra graphic that they have in the service now. So a little more realistic than, I guess, a previous onboard would look as he makes his way through the bus stop in the carousel. And of course, this is the boot version, so rather than making that hard right down the stretch, you're going straight down into the boot here. So the guys that may not have raced the boot too much and just do the NASCAR course, definitely an adjustment that may have to be made here.
Yeah, definitely, but at least they have experience in that shorter cup layout. So maybe some drivers will pick up the speed and be a bit more competitive on this portion, but I mean, not on this portion. This is the boot side of the track, coming into the heel portion as they head into turn 8. Looks like on the normal cup version, I think there's only 7 turns in total.
Something like that.
Yeah, looks like 7 turns in total on the cup portion, but here on the actual on the full course, I guess you could say. They run 11 turns, and what would be turn 7 is now turn 11, and what would be turn 8 is now turn 10.
You see an onboard of our flagman for the race as Brody completes his first lap. And P2 so far, so Christopher Weil also in a DP for the brand new team SPM, currently on top of the standings as he makes his way into the boot now. So this might be an interesting opportunity here. I know Chris is way too far back to contend for a championship, but definitely a possibility here to potentially spoil that Blue Chew party that Brody and Dan have gotten on pretty much this entire season.
Definitely. I'm interested to see what they'll do. Of course, that number 41 was one of the fastest people at Daytona. Unfortunate to him, things just didn't work to his favor, but glad to see 41 show his speed here as of right now. But needless to say, Brody's on lap number 2, and Dan is still making his first lap, and there goes Wheel. Looks like that lap is not gonna be faster, but luckily for him, he's sitting up top in case if those other DPs don't log in a faster one.
Yeah, we'll have to see where Brody and Dan do on their second laps. Of course, they are sitting second and third, like they've been pretty much the whole season. I mean, those two have just dominated the DP class, besides Derek M. Smith at Monza. So I think Brody, again, might have the DP championship locked up, but a win's a win for anybody.
Definitely. Definitely. We're taking a look through the GTE portion of the field. Looks like Blaze McKinney is on top with PPM. PPM, your leader in the GT3 side of things. Corey H. Hart owns that team.
And he owns that class as well. He's up by over 70 points on second place Chris Nazowski.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's currently on pole for that GT3 field as well. So PPM definitely showing their stride, but Mulrooney, a proximity machine, is working some stuff into. I mean, no, he's not on proximity anymore. He's on SPG. Yeah, he's on Sim Performance Group. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not good. Hopefully he got his first lap done, but he's going to slap the tires right there. Currently second in GTE, so at least he got one lap in, but unfortunately for him, that second one, of course, like Chris. But it looks like Brody's second lap was faster than Chris, or his first lap, so Brody now on the pole for the DP and overall, and unless Dan is still on his second lap, I think all the DPs have already made laps.
Yep. There comes Smith, crossing the start-finish line now. He's going to log himself, looks like, drum roll please, 4th place for that number 66 of Derek M. Smith, who was your Daytona winner, I think. I'm not sure where he won, but
I think he won Monza. Wait, no. Wait, no. Derek won Daytona? It was one of them. I keep getting him confused.
Yeah.
I think Derek might have won Daytona and Brody won Monza.
Right.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, please excuse my lapse.
Liam Sheen working himself through the 11th turn, works himself to the front straightaway, and gonna lock himself. He's currently sitting 4th in practice, but, I mean, not 4th in practice, 4th in qualifying. We'll have to see where this lap will go for him. Looks like a 145 for him, so unfortunately, not his best lap. As puts himself in P4. Hess working himself off the final turn. Currently sitting 9th in qualifying. Working himself into 11.
Yeah, to clarify, Derek did win Daytona, and Brody did win Monza, so that's cleared up now as Garrett completes his second of 2 laps. There's Chris, currently second in GT3 standings for qualifying and second in GT3 point standings. One of those, of course, is much easier to improve than the other, is Chris on his final qualifying lap here. We'll see if he can get his way past Corey here in these last couple turns.
And Atkins gets himself across the start-finish line. Don't know if that is outlap or not. Looks like it's just as outlap. So unfortunate for that 56.
He's not going to make it around.
Yeah, he's not going to make it around. It takes at least 2 minutes to get yourself around here at the Watkins Glen International Speedway, Raceway, Motor Sports Park.
None of the above.
Dylan Basin, he too, out on, no, it looks like he's sitting at the end of pit road right now. JJ Hill.
I think everybody that was going to qualify has done so, because JJ Hill, of course, with only 35 seconds left, nowhere near enough time to get a lap down. So I think our order might just be set here as we wind down the last handful of seconds. So congratulations to Brody Gardner on winning another pole this season. Feels like he's won like every one of them, but you know, he's fast. And he's fast once again. Christopher Weil looks like we'll join him on the front row, and Brody's teammate Dan Neese will start behind him. And that will do it for qualifying here. We'll get ourselves ready to go, as we'll have to wait just a little bit for everyone to grid up.
Right, and this being a rolling start, of course, guys could separate themselves this time rather than being all grouped together like we saw at Road America. But luckily for Road America, there was not a lot of cars, but here for tonight, there's way more cars than what we saw those last two races. Should put up for an interesting race as we get set here for this 5th round, and we're coming down to closing time, so it's definitely a now or never situation for some of these drivers who are in the hunt for this championship.
Something just to note, just as a general housekeeping, turn 1 is one of the most probably dangerous turns of all of road course racing. You see so many pileups into turn 1. Someone just doesn't brake in time or loses it while braking, or so many different things can happen. But turn 1, definitely one of the more dangerous spots on the track in terms of being collected in an incident. So on the initial start, as they come out of turn, or the last turn, these guys have to be really careful, especially on the first lap, that they don't get themselves caught up in an early incident.
Definitely. I'm interested to see on how this all works out. Currently, there's a problem with the Audi as of right now. Multiple people reporting issues with the GT3 Audi for it not starting up. So I don't know if they're gonna have to get a push start or something like that. But unfortunately,
that's odd.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with it, but we'll see if some of those Audis could get going. But I see a couple of them in the field. I know D51 has a bit of a problem. Dylan Basin having a bit of a problem. One of our new drivers who was on the racetrack, fortunate for him, he too has a problem. He can't get himself going.
It's a very odd problem to have. I guess the Audis have a manufacturer problem they got to take care of. That's not good.
Yeah, I think the build might have broke them. I'm not really sure, but we're getting ourselves set for this one, as the yellow flag is signifying or pacing to
someone
begin.
Up. Oh, there's Dan. Oh, he's blinking. He's there.
Hard.
Barely.
All right, we roll ourselves in tonight's race. We're going to show you for the order, or how the order is going to look for this one, as these drivers have to log in 45 minutes of racing to get themselves all the way to the end. Congratulations to Brody Gardner, starting in first, and right alongside of him, Christopher Weil in second place.
And Brody's teammate Dan Neese will start behind him in third place, and is outside the 66 of Derek M. Smith.
Row number 3 going to consist of George Toolsma, Blaze McKinney right alongside of him, leading the GTE field.
And in row 4, we've got the 2 of Aaron Mulrooney, and is outside the 88 of Nick Miller.
Rest of the order is going to be shown on your screen as Liam Sheen and Jackson Menchie will round out the top 10. Find your favorite driver and hopefully he'll win it here for tonight. I expect a good race as we get ourselves set for tonight's event. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here for tonight for this Max Speed TV broadcast. We'll go ahead and see you around this week. Also, tuning in live from another channel. I think... who else is live? I know there's one more person else live. Oh no, it looks like I think his broadcast ended. But yeah, we're the only ones live on Max Speed TV right now. Usually there's 2 or 3 other people broadcasting, but that's usually on weekends. So,
well, more viewers for us, hopefully.
Yeah, hope y'all could see a more intricate race here for tonight.
We gotta get our Nielsen ratings up.
Yeah, I know Max Speed TV likes to broadcast a lot of ovals and such, especially with like NASCAR and NORC I know, popular series as well as Laura, but here for iSCAR, which is also a solid oval series here tonight on the road racing side, so hopefully all these viewers could see something a bit different.
Yeah, and hopefully all those Audis ended up getting started and not just stuck wherever they started pacing. So, of course, that's a certain amount of the field potentially with an issue. So hopefully they don't have that issue and we have a full field for the start.
Yeah, it looks like I know Patterson, the O2, is in an Audi, as of course the GT3 field separating itself from the rest of the pack, and as well. Same situation with this GTE portion as they separate themselves from this DP area. 6 DPs are going to start this one as we get set coming into turn number 9 onto the normal cup layout, I guess you could say.
Last week was interesting. We only had 4 DPs last week at Road America, and only one of them finished, and that was your winner, Brody Gardner. So good to see 2 more DPs here tonight, and hopefully more than one actually finishes tonight's event. I think we just had a wreck in the back.
There was a car that actually cut the course, so I'm not really sure what that was all about. I'm curious if
I saw smoke. I'm not. Hopefully no one spun right there, but yeah. I definitely smoke from that.
Alright, work themselves off the final corner. This time by the DPs will lead it to the green. We're up and away for 45 minutes at Watkins Glen.
Looks like Dan's going to get a jump on Chris here into turn 1.
Oh,
Chris just holds on. Oh, Brody goes around, and there goes Chris as well. And Chris, oh, no.
Here comes the GTE portion of this one as, oh my gosh, Mulrooney pushes, I think, Liam Sheen out of line. The DPs, the 2 DPs of Christopher Wheel and JJ Hill have to merge into this pack, so there's going to be a lot of commotion as they're wreck up front through the S's. Oh, that's going to be a big wreck.
Huge crash. Chris, no, Chris again. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, cars upside down and all over the place. And here comes the GT3 field. They have to work themselves through this mess. They're not going to work themselves through it.
Oh, boy. This is craziness.
So much. Oh,
more cars are around. Even 3, 4 more cars slowing down. This is what I was talking about. Turn 1, an easy trouble spot early on. We saw. Oh, and they're still crashing. Oh,
another big wreck.
They're wrecking everywhere. Literally everywhere.
JJ Hill involved in that.
JJ Hill, yeah.
Oh, and he ran to a stopped car, the 86 of Garrett Hess, who overshot the bus stop. Oh my gosh. That was bad luck and bad timing. Oh my gosh, these people are littered everywhere. There's Brody Garner, Liam Sheen, Blaze McKinney. This GT3, this GTE
got damage. Man, if you look at McKinney's front end, he's got damage already.
Yeah, his whole nose is gone. But man, that GTE field just exploded.
Just plowed everybody, yeah. I mean, I was saying initially turn 1 would be a trouble spot. Looks like the entire track is a trouble spot already.
Yeah, but that's the situation of
that was
road
just a
racing.
chain reaction from like turn 1 all the way through all the way through the S's.
And of course, with no cautions and such, that you're just bound to have something happen. One car is off the track. Is that Harry Grindle? No, it's not. I think it might be William Schmidt.
Well, Grindle's front end's gone as well, so.
Oh man, Schmidt.
I mean, almost half the field may have damage already. We're not even a lap through this thing yet.
Yeah, look at all these cars. This is a mix of GTEs and GT3s as Liam Sheen.
A lot of people on pit road now already.
Yeah. Looks like Liam Sheen, one of those drivers who are hitting pit road.
From the lead. So Joe Burgee, this is crazy. Joe Burgee started 10th in the GTE class, and after 1 lap, he's leading.
I'm not sure if he's leading. And Blaze McKinney still out there on his own, but Chris Nozowski is sitting 5th overall. He has a couple of GTE cars right behind. He needs to take note of that because the next GT3 car is all the way back there as Nozowski really pulls in. Gonna have to let Corey, I mean, that's not Corey H. Hartz, but Blaze McKinney by. Corey is all the way back here. Oh no, not as far back as I thought he was. But man, that was a really, really hectic start as everybody just went left, right, up, and down.
Definitely the most hectic start of the season for sure.
No doubt about it.
Even Daytona wasn't that crazy. That was just people crashing and flipping and pretty much everything you could possibly see in a road course race we just saw in that first lap.
Yeah, man. As I mentioned, that GTE field imploded as they were trying to dodge those those DPs and such. Unfortunately, man, we barely have a GTE field. There's only 3 cars, 3 GTEs that are
out of 12.
probably, yeah, out of 12 who are in contention. As we see a car around. That's the 3. I think that's Micah DiMaggio, but
yeah, it is.
DiMaggio moving himself out of the way.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, Blaze McKinney, you see him right here with not even a front bumper. Jackson
And he's
Minshew.
leading his class.
Yeah, he's leading his class because he full throttled that wreck and got himself through. Unfortunately, he got some damage, but Jackson Minshew is going to be pouncing on him. We'll focus in up front because we don't even know where all these people are sitting and such, but Dan Neese is in second place.
Lead right there.
Right.
Going through the carousel and onto the boot. So Derek M. Smith, your leader overall in the DP class. Dan Neese in second. Brody still third in class. And I believe Christopher Weil may be out of the race already, but...
Right, there he is.
Or he's still on pit road, but... I was going to say, if Brody has another issue, this may be the chance that Dan has to maybe gain some ground on him in DP points. Of course, if Dan doesn't cut into the lead enough, Brody might be able to just almost clinch the championship after tonight's race.
So, on the GTE side of things, it's a bit of a different story. Of course, Blaze McKinney sitting in first. Jackson Minshew, who has a lot of damage on his machine, sitting in second place. We have to scroll all the way back here into third place with Glen Bunter with similar damage like his number 39
like
teammate.
Everybody's the same damage.
Yeah, a lot of GTEs got damaged with that first incident, and he is way, way far back. This is Glen heading himself right into the boot, and looks
There's
like
McKinney.
McKinney is heading himself into the heel portion of the racetrack, so there's definitely a gap between where Bundren is, and you scroll all the way back here to Joe Berge, who's in 5th place.
So I think that's DiMaggio they're going by there.
Yep.
But Jackson Minshew, either way, definitely dodged a bullet tonight. Despite all that first lap carnage and the damage he has, his closest competitor in GTE points, Austin Osborne, only 9 points back, did not show up tonight. So wherever Minshew does finish, he will be able to gain points on Osborne in the championship. So even if Minshew were to DNF right now, he'd probably still gain a couple points on him. So Minshew overall caught a lucky break.
Definitely. He'll gain a lot of points off of it, but the battle for this GT3 spot is heating up. The number 22, Chris Nozowski, is trying to pull away from that number 57. And Corey H. Hartz is trying to go 2 in a row, maybe 3 in a row for that number 57. He works himself down the back straightaway and coming to this bus stop. Another familiar portion of a track that is very known for, overshooting and such.
Yeah, we saw Aaron Hess early on.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully the race calms down just a little bit after what we've already seen, but
Yeah.
looks like a lot of the field. You see the GTE class, I mean, half the field's 2 or more laps down in GTE, so just the elimination of drivers that quick was just unlike anything I've probably ever seen in a road course race on iRacing. That was something else.
Yeah. I've never seen either before.
Yeah, Brody's only about 6 seconds back. No, I was going to say Brody's, despite spinning on the first turn of the first lap, only about 5.5 seconds back of Derek M. Smith, so he must have gotten lucky and not been hit by anybody else. So if Brody's car just has more speed, he might be able to flag these guys down in these last, with most of the race still to go.
Yeah, last lap, he was definitely faster.
6 seconds faster.
Right.
I mean, he had a 141 and Derek M. Smith with a 146, 147. He's definitely gaining on Derek. I wonder if Derek may have gotten damage from that at first lap wreck. We'll have to see closely here, but
yeah, he's
either way,
losing a lot of time to at 160 to 1 of Dan Neese, who's still blinking in and out. The telemetry is going to go insane because of that, but in the meantime, now Blaze McKinney still GTE lead, but Minshew, unfortunately, even though Minshew still has a front bumper on his car, I feel like his machine is just so damaged. Like, I mean, Corey H. Hartz is gone. Where the heck did Chris Nozowski go? He's on pit road. What happened to him? He was just a GTE leader. I mean, GT3 leader.
something bad happened. Of course, yeah, we just totally missed that. We'll have to get that for you at some point, but yeah, your GT3 leader. This is probably Chris's last chance to really cut into Corey H. Hart's GT3 points lead, and
Oh, he spun it in the lead into the wall. He went. Wow.
right off the curbs right there. So that's hopefully that's not race ending, and you can at least salvage a decent finish out of that. But that right there might have just wrapped up the GT3 title for Corey H. Hart's.
Man, that means all Corey has to do is just.
I mean, he's 9 seconds up, so he's got light work at this point.
Has to let the 99 and Jackson. I mean, not the 99, the 9 and Jackson Minshew by as wow, gets himself back onto the track. That car looks damageless, honestly. I don't know if he had like some type of disconnection issue.
Well, Wild definitely is damage.
Yeah, he definitely had damage from that first lap wreck.
Yeah, he got hit by JJ Hill into turn 1, and then when they started plowing into each other in the S's, I saw Chris get involved there as well and got up on 2 wheels. So hopefully he can at least finish the race and try and maybe gain a couple more spots overall, since so many GTEs are now out of the race.
Right. Bring himself through nicely with Minshew in second. Unfortunate for him, he is 2 seconds off the pace of what Blaze McKinney has. I mean, Blaze only has front end damage, but Jackson, that car is all torn to pieces and such. How about Harry Grindle working himself into 3rd place in the GTE class, and
also
Glen Bundren. Yeah, also without a front end. Like every single GTE car has some type of issue. So yeah, with the first 10 minutes logged in the race, we've definitely calmed down on what we once were on that first minute.
Something happened to Brody Gardner. He's no longer catching. I think he might be on pit road, or he's 28 seconds back now of Derek M. Smith. I think he might have spun out somewhere, because he was closing in on both Dan Neese and Derek M. Smith, and now he's in 4th place in class behind George Talsman as well. So I think he must have spun somewhere in the track, and we just happened to miss it.
Yeah, has a bit of... There he is.
Oh, there it is. So he's in the tires, but see how'd he get there.
Coming into the boot portion, into this downhill, coming into, I think this is turn number 6.
Wow.
And yeah, just lost it. Into the wall he went. He just stopped there. I don't know if he was just trying to get refired and such, but I don't... there's no reason for that engine to stall or something.
Interesting.
And there goes Tolsma by. Brody then gets himself fired back up.
Yeah, Dan Neese, his gap behind Derek looks to be about the same. It really hasn't changed much over these last few laps. Has hovered around 2.5, 2.7 seconds. So Derek's still leading the class and overall as he goes by a slower GT3. So we're about 12 minutes in so far, and as long as Derek can navigate that lap traffic and at least keep a pace over Dan, Derek might be able to get his 2nd win of the year here. Or the season. But man, it's too bad, because although that whole first lap just separated the entire field, I mean, actually something just happened to Dan Neese too. He's now 9.5 seconds back at Derek, just like that.
Dan is having some severe internet issues. It's hard to keep the camera on him when he blinks just about every second. This car is like a heart monitor, just pulsating and such.
It's crazy. I mean, that's the closest gap between 1st and 2nd place of a class is still Derek and Dan. I mean, McKinney's got about 14 seconds on Minshew right now. And in your GT3 class, Corey H. Hart still pacing the field there over 2nd place. Somebody, Josh Patterson, looks to be about 11.5 seconds. So yeah, these 3 leaders have really been able to separate themselves basically by a stroke of luck. But now it's just a matter of can they keep it, or will something else happen where those 2nd place cars can just pull right back up.
at all this lap traffic that some of these other classes are coming up on. Josh Patterson and Sertaj Mon, they're going to duke it out hand in hand. This is a battle for third place as there's a number 49 south through the S's portion of the track and number 02. It looks like it's not Josh Patterson and Sertaj Mon. This is one of our newcomers, the number 7 of Josh Ansnez, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not really sure, but he does make the pass. He puts himself at the third.
Yeah, Sartaj having a pretty solid points run so far. He's BB's 10th overall in points coming into tonight. So quietly having a top 10 points run and currently third in class. So Sartaj, we don't really talk about him much, especially in this series, but he's quietly put together a pretty solid season.
Definitely, but unfortunately he lost a spot to Josh right there in that number 7. Now working himself through into the toe portion of the boot. Coming through this big uphill. Or the highest point of the racetrack besides the start-finish line. But he's currently sitting in third, but Josh Patterson not far off in that 02. He's sitting in second place as well.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to hit the 30-minute mark here, so we're about a third of the way through tonight's event. And it looks like Derek's lead is now stabilized at about 10 seconds over Dan Neese, so Derek doing a pretty solid job of just staying out of trouble, as I think he was pretty much the only DP that didn't have any sort of issue on that first lap, and he now has the benefit of a 10-second lead, so hopefully he can hold on to that and not suffer any sort of misfortune like the rest of them have.
Yeah, just got a bit off track right there into that turn, but still keeping it on track. He does have a bit of left front damage, though.
I think. Probably lap 1, yeah.
Right. Of course, with
Not
the
too
contact,
bad.
I don't know with Christopher Wheel, though.
I mean, that damage is not bad given the damage that the other competitors definitely incurred. I think that was Nazowski who went by there. But Nazowski, unfortunately, now, I believe, 5 laps down in class to the leader, Corey H. Hart. So Chris has just got to try and salvage what he can, of course. You know, like I said, this probably wraps up the class title for Corey, but I'm sure Chris still wants to have at least a decent enough finish here tonight.
Yep. Putting themselves through. They're just encountering some more lap traffic and such. I think that's
That was
PBM car.
Sartaj.
Yeah. Sertaj, yep, it was. See that number 49 currently sitting 4th in this class.
Yeah, GT3, or excuse me, GTE, it looks like Blaze McKinney is now widened that lead to about 20 seconds over Jackson Menchie. That was about 14 last time we checked. So Blaze doing a really good job of pacing his class, and he might be the safest in terms of keeping the lead out of every class so far.
Definitely, but we still have one round of pit stops to go as you see the 70 and the 7, Josh Anstez and Harry Grindle get lapped. Derek works himself off the final corner. The gap now 10 seconds ahead of second place of Dan Neese.
Yeah,
Dan's
Brody
still
regained.
blinking hard.
Yeah, it looks like Brody retook third place from George Talsma, so some more valuable points for that 99 car as he's trying to wrap up the overall title here tonight. And
Spun again!
He just spun again, just as we said that. So looks like he'll lose third place once again. So he'll have to try and get by that 25 car once again. But as soon as he got by him, and more trouble for him in the boot, just overshot it completely, unfortunately.
Not sure what he's doing, but
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. These guys that have the NASCAR course, of course, they're probably adjusted and used to the regular course, but this boot is not something they run very often, and more trouble. So he had trouble 2 straight turns. So I guess the boot's definitely proving to be a challenge for some here so far.
yeah, man,
More than I thought, honestly.
just uncharacteristic of that 99 to spin out like that. Of course, has been in victory lane before in this series, but unfortunate for that. Number 90, Bird Gardner, now riled back in 4th place, but he could easily pass George Tolsma in that number
He's right there.
25. Putting the pressure on him coming into the carousel portion of the racetrack. Where will Brody go? Work some stuff up high. Looks like Tolsma's just gonna let him by.
Yeah, that's the part that's interesting, is that Brody's obviously the faster car, but he keeps having all these issues. Hopefully, he doesn't have another one that turns out to be terminal damage, but I mean, it looks like for him, now both times he's had trouble, he's managed to get right by that 25 within the lap or two.
Yeah.
So Brody, I think, still might be the fastest car on the track. He's just got to cut down on those mistakes and see if he can try and lessen that gap as much as possible.
Definitely. Of course, with Tolsma's inexperience in this car, not meaning to. Oh my goodness, something. Oh, no, never mind. Dan Neese is blinking so severely that he's fallen off the telemetry board in ATVO. I thought he actually wrecked it or something, but George Tolsma doesn't have a lot of experience in this DP. I know he just recently bought the machine, but he's running it nicely in 4th place. Of course, couldn't complete the Road America race after disqualification, but here he is on track. Got a cockpit on board of that DP, that number 25, Tolsma. The cockpit is on the right-hand side of the car, which is definitely different of what
your typical stock car.
Your typical U.S. stock car, I guess you could say. But yeah, Tolsma on the right side rather than the left side.
That'd even be a difficult adjustment for you, where I just driving down a regular road or whatever. But even more so if you're driving a car like this.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're doing a pretty good job of it so far. At least George is, of course, given that he just recently bought the DP. Looks like Derek's picked up a few more seconds on Dan. Looks to be about 13 or so now. So Derek's still pacing the field at a good rate. McKinney has increased his lead on Menchu now to almost 27 seconds. So I think you were right about Menchu being damaged, as that might be him on pit road. Yes, it is. But even before Menchu was pitting, Blaze is just setting a great pace now in class, and Menchu just may not be able to keep up with the damage he has.
Right, I don't know if he wants to take optional, because the only spots he's going to lose to is, I think, to the number 70 of Harry Grindle. So we'll see if Menchu will elect for some damage repair. Not really sure where he's going to come out, though.
Yeah, he's second in overall points, which would stink for him, because, of course, if he takes optional, he'll lose some spots overall, but he'll probably still have a pretty good chance at winning the GTE title by virtue of Austin Osborne not being here tonight. So Menchu may not be able to win the overall, but I think he'll still be able to get at the class, I think. So I guess this can really be an opportunity for him to almost experiment and see if he wants to change anything that could potentially help him out or not, as you really can't lose much at this point with the way this race has gone.
Definitely. Some interesting thing to point out. Number 39, we're going to transition into nighttime here in about 10 minutes. Number 39 doesn't even have headlights. How is he going to see?
Oh, that's right. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that number 39 is going to have a challenge, and maybe Harry
as well.
Yeah, Harry as well. He doesn't have headlights. He's probably wondering right now, why am I not seeing the track correctly? This is what Harry sees in that number 70, but I'm not sure if he could keep it on the track like that.
They gotta put street lights on.
Yeah.
Street lamps.
Yeah, street lamps on the track, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like Daytona or something.
Yeah, exactly. Watkins Glen night race. Make it happen, NASCAR.
Just interested to see on how this is going to turn out for Harry. That means Menchu might be at an advantage with those headlights.
Just by virtue of having them, yeah. It's not a conversation I envisioned having for a race like this, but with all the damage that these guys have, of course, having headlights is better than having no headlights. So even if your car is slower, if you can at least see the track, you're probably at an advantage over your competitor. So
yeah,
we'll have to see how this all boils down, as they're about halfway through tonight's event. So about 22-ish minutes remaining of the 45 scheduled minutes here tonight. So Harry, of course, now in second place as Menchu has come down pit road. He's about a minute behind Blaze now. Dan's chopped a second or two off of Derek's lead, so he's trying to get back up there. Brody, I believe, has gone down pit road. He's over a minute behind now, so he may have taken some optional repairs during his stop, and it looks like Tolsman is now down as well.
Yep, your fourth place overall hits pit road as gonna elect for his first ever IMSA pit stop.
See one car. I think that might be Nazowski coming off pit road there. One of the Mercedes.
Dasky's out.
It was. Oh, it was
Probably,
one of them.
probably it was Maggie or maybe Gretz.
One of them. One of the proximity Mercedes. You're right. Alex K. Gretz, your late model winner from Irwindale, currently sitting 8th in GT3, so probably not the night he was envisioning having, but he can't really lose any more spots either, as pretty much everybody behind him in GT3 is out of the race as there's a car stopped.
That's
right
Blaze!
there.
Blaze
Oh,
just
wow.
towed it. I think.
Did he wreck or... Yeah, well, that's going to hand the lead to Harry Grindle, though.
Oh, will it? I'm not sure. Well, there's Harry, there's Blaze, and now Blaze looks like just reattached the headlights. What
Wait,
the heck?
what?
How does this work?
What?
I don't know who was stopped on the track. It wasn't Blaze, though, because now Blaze has headlights. It was Menchu, or was it? It was a... I'm not sure who it was.
Well, looks like Blaze got...
Oh, there it is. That was Glen Bundry.
Who also does not have headlights. Looks like all those cars have the same exact damage.
Yeah.
So I guess
Ooh.
a little bit off-roading there for Glenn. Robbie Gordon would be proud, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
it was
guess
Glen.
Blaze got a pretty good electrician to screw some headlights wherever he could find.
There we go. Ta-da!
Screw them in. But he's got a front end now too, so his crew, I guess, got to work and let there be light on that 39 car, but
I guess
Harry
optional
needs
repair
that.
does do some magic.
well, I guess Harry's got to get some headlights too, but
Yeah.
he's got no light, so of course as we transition further into the dark, that track surface definitely going to be harder and harder to see for that 70, so if I were him, I'd probably come down now and see if I can... The optional repair would give him some light as well.
Yeah, interesting.
I didn't expect that to happen.
Me
of
neither.
course. It's like, hey, look, you get a front end, you get a front end, everybody gets a front end.
And good for that number 39, Blaze. Blaze.
Let's see if Harry comes down here. About
Yeah.
2 seconds back. We'll see if Harry... There he goes.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if the light gods will bless him with some headlights here, or if he's out of luck.
Menchu's out of the race, by the way. I have no idea what happened to him. Looks like he towed it.
Might have just binned it somewhere and
Yeah.
called it a day.
There's
I mean,
Bunch
again, he
on
really
there.
didn't have that much to lose because everybody behind him's already out of the race.
Mm.
So he might still finish in 5th place in class because I think Glen's still on track. But everybody else from, I think, I'm not sure who, or William Schmidt on back, I think might be out.
There's the headlights.
I love it.
Oh,
Alright,
great
so
for Grindle. His
I
car looks
guess-
better like that.
See, now we got to do a challenge. Run the rest. If you have that damage, just don't get optional. Just try and run the race without headlights. If you can complete the race without headlights and it gets dark by the end of the race, there should be like an iRacing credit challenge for that. You do it, you get like 3 credits. Courtesy of yours truly in the booth. But about 18 minutes left. As Brody's gotten by Talsma. Talsma must have gotten some optional or something, because he's almost 2 minutes back of Derek now, so Derek might get to him here before this is over.
Yeah, looks like Tolsma, he was sitting in 4th place. He elected with tires. I'm not sure if he wanted to do that. Of course, this is his first time in for IMSA and on DP, of course. Tolsma, 32-second pit stop rather than Derek's 19.5-second pit stop, and the difference between Derek and Dan was a solid 5 seconds, but unfortunately, Derek had a big enough lead that he could still keep himself in front of that 161, but the 161 of Dan, he's still bound with, like, I don't even know what the interval's gonna say. It looks like 14 seconds behind at number 66.
So it looks like everybody in GTE is at least 1 lap down except for Harry, as Burgee went 1 lap down while taking his pit stop. So Blaze with a 42-second lead over Harry. So I think this GTE class might be all set and done here tonight, at least for your winner, unless he bins it somewhere. It looks like Derek will get around that 39, so one class leader puts another one a lap down overall. Derek with a pretty good rate despite that left front damage. Looks to be not hindering him too much. But Brody hasn't been able to really gain much time. He's still stuck about 47 seconds back, so
Right.
I think Brody's going to have to just settle with third here tonight.
We'll show everybody overall in the top portion of the screen. They roll around through. See Derek up front, DP class. Next in line looks like I think it's McKinney. And
Yeah,
Corey
McKinney's
Charts.
still 5th overall.
Right. Got a pass there. I think Atkins or what was it? Looks like Gretz in the 017 has disconnected. Fortunate for him. Luke Daniels. Haven't talked about him. That number 94. He's one of the rookies in tonight's field. That number 94 looking fairly strong as he works himself through turn 1. Luke, honestly, I don't know what kind of I don't know what he's been running in iSCAR, but he's looking a-okay as of right now, running 13th overall and 7th in this class.
Yeah, not a bad debut overall, especially with what transpired on the first lap tonight. So, looks like Luke might be able to walk out of here with a pretty solid debut and maybe do a little bit better next week at our finale race. And unfortunately, the name of that track has totally slipped my mind, but
Canadian Tire.
thank you very much. So hopefully he'll do even better. It looks like there's Brody blinking, or actually it's Dan going around him. So Dan's internet problems have been just plaguing him this entire race, which is unfortunate, but he's still at a pretty good pace, so
Right.
I think he'll finish in 2nd overall, which of course will gain him a couple points towards Brody's lead, but like I said, Luke, still a solid debut for him. Not a whole lot he can do in terms of passing, but just pretty much run your own race at this point.
Definitely.
There's Chris behind him. So he's just running it till the end at this point. Not a whole lot he can really do either. He's 3 laps behind Derek, of course, for the overall 5th in DP, so he's not going to pass anybody else unless somebody bins it again, but I almost say that too loosely because we usually don't have to be too concerned about people just binning their cars, but with what we've seen tonight, it almost seems more likely than not.
Right. And just everybody is all sorts of out of place. You see Luke Daniels get a bit loose off that final corner, letting the 41 a while by. Gets himself into 1. Take a look at the close battles going on through the track as of right now. I wouldn't necessarily call them close. Dylan Basin in the number 51 holding 4th over Josh Ensnez in that number 7 machine. Josh currently sitting now 3.9 in that 51. Right behind him, that's one of the DPs, just working himself by. At number 7, looks like Joe Berge. Oh man, actually
He's been there for a while.
Yeah, he's been on pit road for a while. So
So is Glen. See
Yeah.
Glen blinking right there. He might have just disconnected. Oh, nope, there he is.
Yeah, Glen's having some severe blinking issues, but man, we'll still keep up a looks like a top 5 finish because everybody in the GTE side is just about
And-
dead.
It's weird. This might, like, even with more cars, this might be the highest rate of attrition we've seen all season. With just the sheer amount of cars that are no longer in this, as somebody goes wide right there. It might have been Blaze. But I've never, I mean, in the 5 races we've had so far, I have not seen this many cars either out of the race or with damage. This is just, I hope we don't see it again next week. That I'll say that much.
Right. Hopefully, it doesn't cause any type of course, championship implications. I guess you could say as
There's Dan
Dan
with the headlights.
flickering his lights to get around the number 39, just alarming him. Blaze following in his tracks as they work themselves into 1. But yeah, this race overall very hectic, and we still have 11 minutes to go. Blaze currently retaining the lead, and Harry Grindle in second in this GTE side.
Yeah, 11.5 more minutes to see how many more people can junk their cars. And that's pretty much what it is at this point. How many more cars can you wreck until this thing ends?
Yeah.
But yeah, you said McKinney, he's got his lead over Harry about a minute now, so just dominating the field today. Derek's lead over Dan's, again, plateaued at about 13 seconds, so Derek can just run his own race now, and Brody's gained a couple seconds, but still way, way, way too far back to get the lead or second place, unfortunately, but still a solid points day for Brody, of course, because he's still going to finish third overall out of 34 cars, but I'm sure he'd rather be up there competing with Derek and Dan for the overall lead.
Definitely, as Derek works some stuff through off the boot. And into turn 10 and 11 goes. This time by, I think will be about just 6 laps remaining for that. Number 66 is Derek. Yeah, with a lot of people eliminated, we've definitely calmed down of what we once were. And all our eyes are on these leaders. Derek M. Smith up front, Blaze McKinney in second place. Way far ahead. Way far ahead. That number 70 of Harry Grindle. Bergie is on pit road. He's gonna finish third, even though he's on pit road. This is crazy. Corey H. Hart's retaining the GT3 lead. Josh Patterson in second place, who's in the boot as of right now, 13 seconds behind that number 57. Unless each leader makes a mistake, we basically have this thing locked down and set for the finish.
Which is pretty crazy to say, considering there's still 9.5 minutes left of this thing, but there's just nobody anywhere close to those leaders, unfortunately, so, you know, it's too bad that this whole thing ended up pretty much getting decided on lap 1. I was hoping we'd have some more close battles than what we have, but that lap 1 incident just turned everything on its head.
Yeah, man. That's probably one of the first times I've ever seen such a big wreck.
And one that it was just a chain reaction that went that far up the track, because they started that in turn 1, and it went almost all the way up to the bus stop.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the crazier wrecks. I mean, of course, turn 1, I kind of expected there'd be something, but then it just kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
And just more and more cars. I mean, and then half the GTE field didn't even complete a lap. I mean, that's unheard of. That's something else.
Right. Now we started the race with 34 entries, now left with, looks like 14 out on the racetrack as of right now.
So less than half the cars that started are left.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so this is our third biggest field out of the 5 races. Of course, Daytona and Monza had more, but I think Daytona and Monza also had a lot more cars finished than we'll have finished tonight. But yeah, like I said earlier, I have not seen a rate of attrition this much in a road race probably ever. Even between iRacing and real life, this is definitely up there as Derek makes his way around Sartage with about 7.5 minutes to go.
Well, the GTEs, not GTE, GT3s, just blinking their lights and such, flashing the leader by.
Got nothing better to do.
Yeah, there's 7 minutes remaining now as we watch Derek just float himself around the racetrack. Blaze, of course.
That's Dan coming up on him now. Or actually, it's Chris.
Yeah. Both of them just flashing their headlights on each other, just screwing around and wheel.
At least they have headlights to flash now.
Yeah.
They didn't before.
We'll, trying to get that,
That's Blaze, I think.
Yeah, it's Blaze. Right behind him, I don't know who that is.
I'm not sure either, but it's a car. That much we do know, but that's Harry. Still second in GTE, over a minute behind Blaze, so
Looks like
that's the
William Schmidt and Glenn Bundren and Nick Miller, they all are on the racetrack, so
Nick's 18 laps down. He's not going to really gain much of any positions, but
yeah, but he could go ahead and hop on Glenn and Schmidt and all these other people who have disconnected. Of course, Menshu's gone, Sheen's gone, Byers gone, Mulrooney. They could hop a position on them and work themselves through.
Nick might be able to actually gain 4 or 5 spots just in class alone. He's 6th right now in GT. He might be able to jump up to 3rd or 4th before this thing wraps up. So, of course, he's nowhere near the points battle, but at least he can get somewhat of a better finish. Is Glenn 5th in class, so he could potentially do the same, but he's got some blinking, and he's got no headlights.
Yeah. See how slow he's going through the corners, just trying to find his marks and such.
That in itself is pretty impressive. I mean, it's pretty much dark here in Watkins Glen, New York, but he's pulling it off so far. You see Burgee still on pit road. He's been there for over about 10 minutes now, so...
Yeah, he could hop a position just by logging in laps, as long as he doesn't bid it, because he doesn't know where he is. But yeah, Bundren's most likely going to finish out in 4th place, and indeed he does hop against Joe Burgee in that number 83, as well as Nick Miller, who's working himself off the boot right now. So even though Glenn binned earlier off the bus stop portion, here he is sitting in now 4th place.
As we're under 5 minutes left, so this will probably be either the 2nd or 3rd to last lap we will have tonight. So for anybody that wants to try and make a move, I don't know who that is, but man, they were slow. But
also
for anybody,
blind corner as well.
Actually, Brody just went a lap down. Something happened to him because he's a lap down now, and
yeah, there he is on pit road.
Yeah, I think he might have wrecked it again because he's a lap down to the leaders, and Talisman got by him as well. So we'll have to see. So he's in the boot. So the boot has definitely been Brody's Achilles heel tonight. Of course, no pun intended as he's going into the heel, but we'll have to see what happened here.
Brody has been on pit road for the past minute and a half.
Oh, okay. Well, forget what I just said, but he's there.
Well, looks like he's been on pit road. Took it on pit road and called it a day, I guess.
So it looks like we'll have 3 DPs finish. Looks like Derek's actually about to lap George Talisman. Talisman's the first car, Derek the second one, so looks like we'll have 2 DPs on the lead lap, but 3 at the finish, as I'm sure Derek will probably complete this pass shortly. Blaze still up by over a minute on the 70 of Harry Grindle. So even if Blaze were to just spin out, he'd still be so far ahead that it wouldn't even do anything, as long as it didn't hit anything. Corey H. Hartz has got 21 seconds on Josh Patterson, so barring any literally last-minute mistakes, all 3 of these classes have been all but secured here. Is just about 2 minutes and change left here tonight.
Got a battle for 3rd place on the GT3 side as Sertaj Mon hens off that number 7 Josh. And Snez works himself through the bus stop. Oh, this is actually a fairly close battle between these two. The 7 was ahead of that 49 earlier. But right now, yeah, these
and that DP. Sorry, go ahead.
That DP, Richard Wall is going to play an effect as they break up the battle here. Will has to scoot himself through fairly nicely as he keeps this battle untouched. Working through.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much the only battle on track as well. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's enough time left, as Talisman has now gone a lap down. But Chris currently 4 laps behind Derek, and Brody's now 2, but there may not be enough time left for him to actually be able to pass him. I don't know if we'll have 2 more laps or 1 more lap. But if we get 2, Chris might get Brody for 4th.
Yeah, it looks like when the time expires, the next lap will be the white flag. That'll be it for Derek, so.
And Chris might be able to get third before this is over, or fourth.
Yeah. Looks like Brody's still on pit road as well, so.
He might just be done for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot left. It's under a minute and a half left, so. I mean, that battle we saw in GT3 was pretty much the only battle anywhere on track, and.
Still going at it, too.
Yeah. So we might as well watch this till the end. This is really the only thing going on.
Yep,
But
this is the
Josh
40...
trying to get there, but Sartaj doing a good job of blocking and holding tight to that podium spot, as we're now under a minute remaining, so tonight's pretty much wrapping up, so white flag should be coming out shortly, as Josh will try and make a move here into the bus stop, and he'll try and go high.
Now gonna make a move high coming into the bus stop, maybe get a nicer... Oh, better corner, that's Sartaj! Checked up a lot, and that gap grew real hard as Josh veered off to the right, attempting not to hit that 49's bumper. Luckily for Josh, he could go ahead. He has about 2 point something miles.
Oh, he closed really a lot right there.
Right. What a drive by that number 7 to get himself to the back bumper and right back into the battle.
Here he comes.
Here he comes to the ice side.
Side by side.
Josh is still staying competitive. You're gonna go now, inside or out?
Looks like we'll go high as the time will expire here at Watkins Glen, so the next lap will be... Actually, this is the white flag here for Derek M. Smith in that 66. Looks like he will get his second win of the season, along with Daytona. So congratulations preemptively to him. I really hope I don't jinx him right here, because I'd be sad. But they're still going at it here into the final turn, so... One more lap for Josh to try and get third, to see if he can do it.
It's up to the high side. No. Yes, outbreak. That number 49 on entry shoves it into the corner. Oh, what a move!
Wow.
That's
nice
a great
pass.
move if I've seen one.
And Sartaj isn't going to let him go that easily. I'm sure this thing still isn't over yet. As they come up the S's, and I'm sure Sartaj might try to set up a pass into the bus stop. We'll have to see what he does here.
As the draft off of him, Sartaj
here
to
he
the
comes.
inside.
He's definitely got the inside. And he'll drive it in. Contact! Sartaj back to third. This is a really nice battle. And the only one still. But Sartaj, once again, on top of that. And here's your leader, Derek M. Smith, coming out of the last 2 turns. And out of turn number 12, the number 66 of Derek M. Smith will take his second class win of the season and second overall win of the season here at Watkins Glen. So congratulations to Derek on his second win of the year with Daytona. And here comes the 57 of Corey H. Hartz to take the win in GT3, so congrats to him as well. And I believe with that win, that should clinch him the GT3 championship.
Yeah, definitely. And we're watching this leader of the 39, Blaze McKinney, working himself through the boot portion of the track, coming into turn number 8. Such as the battle for third looks like has completed itself.
Oh,
Cars off
maybe
the
not.
track.
Sartaj went wide. One more chance. Not quite. So looks like Sartaj will hold on. Actually, he came really close right there, but...
Up and there's your
GT3 winner.
GT3 winner, Corey Charge, working himself through. There's Blaze.
There's
That's
Blaze
what I was
McKinney.
talking about.
So
Blaze
congrats
crosses
to
the
Blaze.
start-finish line, and he'll take the checkered flag in the portion of the night.
So congratulations to our 3 class winners here tonight, Derek M. Smith, Blaze McKinney, and Corey H. Hartz. And that will do it here for the 45 minutes of Watkins Glen. We'll scoot ourselves off to the side, and we'll be right back with some post-race interviews, so stay tuned for that.
Welcome y'all back here live for tonight's iSCAR Sports Car Championship. We'll go ahead and drag in our winners and podium finishers here for this one. We'll drag in the number 66 of Derek M. Smith into the booth. He goes, and he started himself, I think, 4th place and ended up on top. And Derek, congratulations, bud. Your 2nd win overall. Man, that first lap was something else, but lucky you were in front of it. How did your race go overall, man?
Good.
That's all just good. Just plain and simple, man. Derek, of course, 2nd win overall. I don't know where you are in points, so before you came in for tonight, I don't think you're up there. Looks like you were saying 7th in points. Coming for Canadian Tire, how do you think your chances are going to line up there?
Chances are good.
Chances are good, man. All right, 10-4, bud. Congratulations on your finish here for tonight, Derek. Anything else you want to say?
Good.
All right, 10-4. Derek M. Smith, he feeling good about it. We'll go ahead and see him around. Good night.
He did good.
Good night.
Yes.
Amazing.
All right. Well, short and sweet from your overall winner. We'll drag in our GTE winner here, Blaze McKinney, who ran a chunk of this race without a front end. Blaze, got a copy? Got a copy, Blaze?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, so you, along with a lot of other people, got a lot of damage from that absolute craziness that came out on lap number 1. And you ran a bunch of this race without a front end and no headlights, but with that optional repair, you got them back. How did you manage to get yourself the win out of all that?
Yeah, I felt like I could have won even without the entire field wrecking on lap 1, but because we qualified on pole and stuff, and I felt like we had speed. But I was unfortunate that we all wrecked there at the beginning. I was kind of hoping to have some battles, but it was hard without the headlights in the beginning when it started getting to dark. But I had a good enough gap where I could just fix the damage while I was waiting in pit road, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, you were over a minute up on Harry for most of that race and lapped him towards the end, so you pretty much dominated this thing, especially with those wrecks happening. But I mean, how was your car overall, with wrecks or not?
Yeah, it felt great. We had a great setup from the team. I ran really well in practice. Qualifying was really good. I felt like I had a chance to win no matter what. So it was a great car. It felt really good. Even with the damage, it still ran really well.
Well, the wreck certainly made that a lot easier, man. Hey, before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
Yeah, I appreciate Corey and PPM for letting me come out here and race and the setups and everything. Crystal Designs, bunch of lawn care, and iRacing Media.
All right, Blaze McKinney, your GTE winner for tonight. Hope to see you back for the rest of this weekend and for the rest of the summer series, bud.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and drag in Corey H. Hartz into the booth. And, man, what a start he had to go through. Of course, that big wreck on lap number 1, but what you see out of your windshield?
Well, I saw a bunch of cars everywhere, and I kept my foot in it and hope I avoided the wrecks, and that worked out pretty well. So,
yeah, definitely, man. That 57 obviously started up front. You had the advantage coming into that big wreck. Luckily, you made yourself through and gapped to 2nd place, so Josh Patterson by a big margin. Besides that big wreck, man, any other events that happened?
well, Chris had gotten by me in the middle of all that because I had to check up for a slow GTE that just had wrecked, and he went by me on the outside, and then I was able to get right up behind him again and just keep the pressure on him, and I think he was pushing it. Eventually he made a mistake, and he ended up spinning it and trashing the car, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah.
All right, man, 10-4, and with your win here for tonight, we said it. You clinched the GT3 championship if you show up at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, man. Congratulations, not only on the win, but the GT3 championship. What does this mean for your team and PPM overall?
Well, for me, it's pretty cool because I've never really been in the position to win a league championship. So this is really the first league that I've actually committed to and done like every race. So that for one thing. But excited with how it turned out with the team tonight because we had a lot of our drivers. And then Blaze, he won GTE, so really happy to see him get the win in that class. And then Derek is sort of associated with us because he's running our with our endurance stuff, so he kind of is part of that as well. So yeah, it was cool to see all three of us who are kind of associated with each other get the win in the same race in each class. So
Definitely, man. A dominating day by PPM here after Watkins Glen. Before we let you go, any so much want to thank you for tonight?
Just normal stuff. My teammates, yeah.
All right, bud. 10-4. Corey Charge runs himself out for on top after starting on top. We'll go ahead and see you around, bud.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead and drag in our second place in DP overall, and Dewey will go ahead and take this one away.
All right, Dan, got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, bros?
Well, that was a pretty crazy race, especially considering the other ones we had this season. How'd you end up second place out of all that?
Honestly, I have no clue. So right now, not even joking you, I'm playing inside of a literal hotel. So my internet connection, if you were watching me, I'm blinking an insane amount right now.
Yep.
And usually I'm on my cockpit. Usually I'm on a cockpit. I literally have my Fanatec Velcroed to the desk here, so hopefully it doesn't break this desk that they gave me in the hotel. But yeah, didn't really put too much practice in because I just moved here like 2 days ago. So yeah, not too bad though. It's pretty good.
Well, congrats on the move, I guess. And even with your crappy internet, you still managed a podium and avoided all that carnage. But hey, man, you did gain some points on your teammate Brody, but you think you got something for him for the overall championship, even if the points may not allow it?
Possibly. I mean, it just comes out to Canadian Tire. I've driven there a lot. I don't think Brody's driven there at all. I'd be surprised if anybody in here other than me has driven that track before, so it'll be pretty interesting for the most part because it's a pretty rough track for beginners.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of infamous incidents occur at Mosport, especially in real life, so we'll have to see if that occurs here next week. Hey, man, before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
You already know, Blue Chew, chew it and do it. Fucking, you got a full Tortog, hit up Blue Chew, my bros. Shout out to Josh for coming out and racing with us finally. It's good to let him get into a race against people. Shout out Derek Smith. He ran with us this last week in the 6 hours of Le Mans with Josh, and they ended up winning. So that was pretty fucking cool. Shout out Brody again for showing me this league. Shout out Zeke for holding this stuff down. Shout out old man Pat just watching us over the entire race, making sure we're not fucking anything up like a grandpa. And then shout out to you guys also, Dewey, for doing this little broadcast thing. Pretty cool.
Well, yeah, Josh did pretty good, so thanks for inviting him into the league. We'll see him again as well, and hope to see you back next week at Mosport, bud.
Thanks. One more thing before I go. I got to show you this real quick. This is Barack Obama literally saying this.
Gotta have them ribs. And pussy too.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right, man. 10-4. Dan Nees runs himself out in second place. The OG man of OG mans. And what an OG
His
he
interviews
is.
are top notch. No, I don't. It's gonna take a lot for someone to top a Dan Neese interview. I'll say that much.
Yeah, well, amazing dude. Y'all have to know him. Of course, he live streams and such. But we'll go ahead and drag in our third place. George Tolsma into the booth after you started in fifth. Tolsma, you had a fairly quiet day, but man, it was hectic during that start. What you see off your windshield, bud?
We headed down into turn one, and I was just trying to take it easy. I knew I didn't quite have a car for Wheel or Brody or heck, even Derek. Obviously, Derek ran away with it there, but would have been nice to have Brody and Wheel battle it out. I know how much the two of them probably would have been running up front all day, and who knows what could have happened there. But in the end, I guess Brody's car crapped out at some point. I don't know. I came across the line, looked down, and saw I was third, and I was like, okay, I guess we took her home on the podium. So big bounce back after a really rough Road America there.
Yeah, definitely, man. I was about to mention about that. Of course, the situation at Road America. You bouncing up to a podium finish, of course. How do you feel about that, man?
It feels just really good. Obviously, it's always great just to put it anywhere that, brings home some form of medal. So I'll take home a bronze medal. hopefully we can go after some gold here eventually.
Up man 10 for Tolson going to round himself out in third place. Of course, you don't have a lot of experience in this car. How'd you feel the car on the racetrack?
So actually all week long I've been practicing on noon with like 125-degree track temp. I didn't know until today that we were actually racing late afternoon, so came in with the idea of running really slick, really greasy track, just sliding all over the place, and showed up to a much cool track where I had a lot of grip. So it actually improved my times a little bit, helped me out there in the long run. Obviously, we made it into our bracket where we needed to be able to race today after some implications from Road America. And, you know, that's all we really needed. We just needed the shot. And I think we at least proved today that we got her done. Obviously, big shout out to Christopher Wheel. I know he didn't have a good day, but at the very least, I carried on the legacy there. He helped me all week long on figuring this thing out and getting fast.
All right, bud. 10-4. George Holson going to round himself out in third place after starting in fifth. We'll go ahead and see you coming around, bud.
Thank you.
Go ahead and drag in our second place in GT3 into the booth. This will be Josh Patterson. Dewey will take this away.
All right, Josh, got a copy?
Hello?
We're here. Hey, man, what did you see? I mean, of course, everyone's talking about that lap 1 incident. What did you see on lap 1?
Honestly, I didn't see anything. I started back from 12th place, so I saw maybe 1 or 2 cars stopped on the side, and I didn't think anything of it. Wasn't until about lap 6 until I realized that there was only 2 cars left in the GTE field, so yeah, I had no clue.
Well, you ended up second place, speaking of second, in your GT3 class behind Corey. You guys had a great battle last week at Road America coming to the finish, but fortunately you came up just short again. You think you might have something for him next week at Mosport?
Yeah, I think in Mosport I've raced a couple times, never actually in a GT3 car, but I feel like I definitely have the capability to win. It's just something's gone wrong for me every week. This week I had 0 practice or 0 setup going into the race, so to get second out of this is thrilling just for me, just because I had no idea that, or like I forgot to download the updates until 8 o'clock, so I hopped into the race with no setup or practice on the track. So next week I should be a little bit more prepared. I'll get my setup made a little bit earlier, but with those PPM guys up front, they're a big organization kind of team. They all get together, do their practice, have their own big setups. I'm just one guy putting on, custom made setups and going out every week with no help. So I don't know. I'm thrilled to even be battling with them in that picture. So yeah, Mosport will be fun.
Yeah, I'd say second place without a setup or any practice is pretty damn good. Hey man, before I let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
Well, I got to thank everybody at Nova Sim Racing, all my sponsors on the car, so Endurance Distributions, NTN, Belfour. Got to thank you guys for broadcasting. Got to thank Zeke for running this whole league, and got to thank everyone on the track for giving me a great race.
All right, Josh Patterson, second place in GT3. Hope to see you back here for the rest of this weekend and next week, bud.
Yep, thanks.
We'll go ahead and drag in our third place finisher into the booth. He goes, made his debut here for tonight in that number 7, finished out in third and started in 5th. Josh, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How's it going, guys?
Of course, we're doing fine up here in the booth, but you finished out here third in your debut. Of course, that big wreck on lap number 1. Josh said you didn't see much, but looks like you have a bit of damage there on your left side. You might escape that wreck with just a bit of minor damage, but I'm not really sure. Talk me through how that first lap went.
So going up the hill to the straight there, I got about halfway spun. I was completely sideways. Don't know how I ended up able to straighten it out and just keep going without really losing much. I did have a couple more incidents, trying to get by some slower cars. It was a little interesting. I decided to take the optionals at the pit. Almost stalled coming out of the pit, which would have been bad because, these cars don't start right now. But overall, had some really fun, close racing with Sartaj there at the end. And overall, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, 10-4. You mentioned stalling on the Audi, of course. Unfortunately, the new build sort of broke out the Audi and such. But how'd you get it started there on the grid?
I managed to just dump the clutch again and just keep popping it and somehow kept it going.
Okay, man. 10-4. Well, Josh, on your debut race, finishing out third here tonight after starting in 5th. Before I let you go, any sponsor want to thank you for tonight?
Just, Big D, Dan. He's the homie, team captain. Also, shout out Derek. Last week, not only did we win the 6-hour Le Mans, but we lapped the entire field. So it was a lot of fun. And Brody, too, for showing me and Dan this league. So thank you, guys.
Our mentor, 10 for Josh Ansnez, who's going to round himself out 3rd. After starting in 5th, we'll go ahead and see you around coming to your next race, bud.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go ahead and drag in our 2nd place runner-up, the GTE side of Spectrum. We'll go ahead and drag in the number 70 of Harry Grindle. Dewey will take this one away.
All right, Harry, got a copy?
Yeah, I've got you.
All right, so we've asked pretty much everybody in the booth so far. What did you see on lap number 1?
Well, not much really, I'll be honest. I was behind Miller and a couple of other cars. We came up through the S's. Someone went into the guardrail at the top of the hill.
I think that
And
was
then they all
maybe
just
Steve.
sort of... I'm not entirely sure who it was. It looked like some sort of Ferrari or something. But, yeah, we came through the top, and then there was just smoke in front of me. I tried to slow down, and then I think it was Charlie and Miller sort of split, and I went, oh, yes, there's a gap. Tried to go for it, and then just suddenly Miller, bang, crunch, and I'd lost my headlights.
Well, thankfully you gained them back through optional repair, and you're at least able to finish the race with some headlights, but you ended up
Yes.
2nd in class overall, so I guess you salvaged yourself a pretty good finish. But besides all the carnage on lap 1, how was your car overall?
Beautiful. This is why I love the M8 GT. It is nothing short of a tank. Like, it took those hits, it lost the front bumper and it lost the headlights, so it was a little hurt in straight line speed, so the GT3s were actually pulling me down the back straight towards the inner loop of the bus stop, but in terms of, like, handling, in terms of turning, in terms of acceleration, it was fine. It was only until, like, once I got to 5th gear that I started to notice something was amiss, so it's a beautiful handling car, and this is why I love it, because so just don't call it a day. I didn't even take any optional repairs. The lights just came back automatically with the repairs, thank goodness. So,
Well, driving a tank definitely isn't a bad thing, and driving a beautiful, good handling tank is definitely a better thing. So, fortunately, they were able to
Amen
drive
to
that
that.
tank to 2nd place in class. Hey, before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
well, Team Kamikaze, KVN Racing, they're working with us, as well as Team Project New Zealand. We're going to be teaming up to do the Le Mans 24 hours at the end of the month, so stay tuned to @KamikazeAC on Instagram for news about that little plug. But aside from that, no, not really. I think that's a day. Best finish of the sports car season. I'll take that.
All right. Well, good luck in that Le Mans race you've got going for yourself, and hope to see you back here the rest of this weekend and the rest of the summer series.
Yeah, definitely look forward to it. It's been a lot of fun.
That was Harry Grindle in the number 70 after starting himself in 8th and finishing himself in 2nd. We'll go ahead and round ourselves to the 3rd person out on the racetrack. So finished out in 3rd in his class, even though he was sitting on pit row for over a decade. William, you still find yourself in 3rd, but William, man, that first lap was all sorts of hectic, and
Yep.
you escaped it with like damage, but it seemed to be race ending at first. But you found yourself on track, and luckily, I don't even know how you're up here in 3rd.
Yeah, I have no clue how on earth I got here. I just drove, then at the finish looked at my results. I was like, wait, how the hell am I 3rd? So, yeah, that was kind of a shock. But yeah, that first lap, I would have gone through it completely unscathed if I didn't hit the guardrail where it like curved, you know, or there's like that little grass section in the S's, and it like curves then into actually being a wall. So yeah, I hit that little curve and it completely screwed my left front wheel to hell. So yeah, I tried going out there for a few laps and I just couldn't really handle it that well. So I just went down pit road, sat there for a while, and yeah.
How much time did it take to repair all that optional damage and such? I'm curious on how long you took on pit road.
Optional was I think maybe 8 minutes, but it was a lot longer spaced out because I took 1 minute of that, went out to try and see how well it was, and it was not well, so I came back down pit road and got the remaining done.
All right, man. 10-4. William Schick could have ran himself out third after starting in 7th place. Before we let you go, and you just want to thank you for tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank Side Drafting Productions and yeah.
All right, bud. 10-4. William Schick could have rounded himself out here in 3rd place after starting in 7th. Go ahead and see you coming around for the next race, bud.
All right, you too.
With that being said, we'll go ahead and sum it up here at Watkins Glen. But before we let you go, what you think about tonight's race, Dewey?
Definitely interesting to say the least. Of course, that lap 1 wreck did a huge number on the field, but we did see some pretty good battles throughout the field here tonight, and I think it's the first real race I've seen run on the boot in a long time. I think probably the last time we saw that was probably the Mazda series we ran here. So good to see the boot being used again. Of course, it gave some people some trouble, but overall, I enjoyed watching tonight's race.
Definitely. And with that being said, rounding out round number 5 of tonight's race, we'll go ahead and see it coming around for tomorrow at the Skip Barber side of things. But my name is Icarus.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. We will see you tomorrow night.
Bye.
Bye.